Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully everyone can hear us. If somebody could just let me know in the chat. Yes, somebody. Excellent. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate it very much. Hi, my name is Keith Henderson. I'm the director of the Division of Local Planning Services here at the Department of Community Affairs. And with me today is our Affordable Housing Monitoring System Manager, Heather Mahaley, and John Porter and Anthony Scroy from the CSI Technology Group, with whom we've been working to develop the system we're here to talk about today. So first and foremost, I want to thank you for attending today. By being here, you're a testament to the commitment you have to contributing to this effort. Uh, the the amendments to the Fair Housing Act and other parts of the law signed by the governor in March delegate certain responsibilities to DCA, specifically the collection of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund monitoring reports and detailed information on affordable housing completions. We will also be responsible for the establishment of an administrative agent and municipal housing liaison certification program. We're not going to be talking about the certification programs today, but we do want to emphasize the importance of making sure that all municipalities have a specific individual designated as an MHL, and Heather will touch on that in a minute. As most of you know, earlier this year, we migrated the former COA tracking and monitoring system, or CCM, into the new Affordable Housing Monitoring System, or AHMS, to assist you guys with meeting the September reporting requirements that were part of the new law back then. And as we indicated during the training sessions that we conducted in early September, 100% of the municipal data that had been entered into the old CCM system was flawlessly migrated into the new system. And I just want to thank all of you who have been using the new system. Keeping things current has been a real blessing. So what the system does not have is the information that may be new since it was last updated by all of you. You know, things that you've done recently in the ARM system, that's obviously all in there. But what's potentially missing is projects that were included for the first time in settlement agreements for the third round that you haven't entered into the system yet. And so that's going to be an important part of what we're going to be talking about at some point in time in the presentation. And as you'll see in a minute, you'll see why that's as important as it is. So when we rolled out the new system in September, we had a really short time frame to get it up and running to meet that September 16th deadline, but we were successful. And since then, we've been working to further refine and streamline the system to make it even easier to use. We've cleaned up some of the remnants of the old CTM system to produce some cleaner screens with more workspace, and we've made things more user-friendly. And so today we're going to provide an overview of these revisions and updates. The next deadline, as I'm sure you may know, is for both trust fund and completed unit monitoring is February 15th, and this is going to become an annual reporting deadline. In the future, each annual report will reflect the activities of the previous calendar year. So in essence, you'll have 45 days at the end of each year to make sure the reporting is current. But during this first reporting for February 15th of 2025, there's going to be a little bit of catching up to do based on those projects that were approved as part of third round settlement agreements that haven't been entered into the system yet. So uh, for now, we just want to focus on the February 15th task at hand. Rest assured that as we move forward after that, we'll continue to work on revisions based on user feedback from all of you. So there's going to be a couple of things that we show in the system today that are really not an immediately integral part of what's necessary for February 15th, but we're going to be reviewing them so that you'll be able to see how they fit into the big picture. So before I turn it over to Heather, I just want to note that this is the second of the two webinars, and they both covered the same thing. Uh, there was no need to attend both of them. So if you were here yesterday, unless you want to hang around again, you're certainly welcome to. Both of our sessions are being recorded, and they're going to be posted to our website, so you can always come back for a refresher. And at the end of our discussion today, we should have a little bit of time for some Q&A, and everybody is muted right now. But when we're done, if you raise your hand, we will unmute you first, and then after we unmute you, you've got to also unmute yourself, and we'll give you an opportunity to ask some questions. So, Heather, you're up.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're really happy you're here. I just wanted to put in a note about MHLs, the Municipal Housing Liaisons, and our effort to get MHLs for all the towns into our system. We are, making a big plug right now to get all towns to identify their MHL so that we have someone that we can communicate with going into the future. We've been sending out notices to business administrators and clerks, and we'd like to refine that to being able to communicate with the person that we really need to get these notices out to, which is the MHL, who is the coordinator of the affordable housing program in each town. So it's important for us to make those connections. So if you don't have to be, we're going to work on the certification part of that, which will be your resolution, the education program. We're going to be needing to make changes to what has been in place through Rutgers because of the new law. So we will be working on that going into the future. So we'll communicate with you when those classes are updated and available through Rutgers. And so right now we are just trying to get people's names. So you don't have to have your resolution yet. You don't have to have your education yet. That's not the certification part of it. But if you are identified as the MHL in your town, Anthony and John are going to go into how you register for the system. You'll have to do that first, but then you can identify yourself as the MHL. We will put you in that role, and then that way we can reach out to you specifically. We had also received questions about, excuse me, whether towns can share an MHL, and from our perspective, that is absolutely fine. You just have to have a connection with each of your town's a resolution, that kind of thing. There may also be some funding or resources available for that shared service. So actually, we're going to put in the chat a link to some information that might be interesting if you are considering a shared service agreement. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to John and Anthony to get into the system. They're going to go through how you get into the system and then the changes that we've made recently to hopefully make it more efficient and effective. We welcome your input to this. It is a work in progress. And as I've always said, it's like we're building the plane as we fly it. So we rely on you guys to tell us if there are issues and places where we can make it better. So Anthony and John, take it away.
Okay, Heather, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday. My name is John Porter. As Heather and Keith mentioned, I'm with the CSI Technology Group, and here today is my partner, Anthony Scroy, to help me with this presentation. Today, we will be walking you through the Affordable Housing Monitoring System application. You might hear me mention it as the admin site throughout the presentation. That's just our internal nomenclature for it. So, that's just our terminology. But anyway, I'll be doing a majority of the visual presentation wherein you might see, Anthony in the chat, adding things, responding to just questions if you have any. So that's how we'll handle it today. So I'm going to share my screen. And please, Heather, Anthony, can you confirm when you see, I'm sharing my screen?
We're up, John. We're good.
Thank you. Okay, so this website address or URL that you're looking at right now, this is the URL for the Affordable Housing Monitoring System website, or the portal site, where if you don't already have an account for the system, you can register. So if you don't have an account, where you want to go is here to https://ahms.dca.nj.gov. When you type in that URL, you will reach this site. And This is, like I mentioned, the Affordable Housing Monitoring System site. So there's information on here about the program itself. In addition to that, the contact information for Keith and Heather's office is here on the page too, if you ever need it. And most importantly, this is the site you visit to register for a user account to access the monitoring system application. There's two places, there's two buttons on the home page here, the register for municipal service account, or click here to start the registration process. Clicking either button starts that process. So once you click that, it's going to take you to this page where it's asking you for some information. And at a minimum, in order to request an account, you have to fill out the fields that are marked with the red asterisk. And what that means is that is a required information in order to request an account. So at a minimum, you have to fill out those fields. So the information that you need to provide is your first name, your last name, middle name and suffix are optional. You must supply the county and municipality in which your agency is located in. So I'm just going to pick off the top of the list, Atlantic County, Absecon City. And once you do that, this is the user group list. So this is where you have an opportunity to request the type of access that you need or you're requesting. And you can see that there's 6 user groups here. The first one is trust fund monitoring. That would be if you're responsible for managing the trust fund for your municipality. Next is project unit monitoring access. So if you're responsible for updating the projects and the units within those projects, you would want project unit monitoring access. RCA monitoring access, the regional contribution agreements. If I'm not mistaken, they're not part of the new legislation, but this is another user group, but I don't think we're going to be using that much longer. The next one is a view-only group. So, if you're employed by the municipality and you just need access to kind of, you want to know what's going on, you want to be informed with your municipality's participation in the program, you can request a view-only account, which gives you access to the information. You just don't have the ability to add or update or edit anything. Strictly view-only access. Next is municipal clerk access. So if you're the municipal clerk, you can request an account, and this gives you certain access to the application as well. And as Keith mentioned at the start of the presentation, municipal housing liaison account. The uniqueness to the municipal clerk and municipal housing liaison accounts, and we'll talk about it a little further when we move over to the application, is that there's a responsibility to review account requests to access your municipality's affordable housing information. So that's an extra responsibility for that type of account access. So after you select which user group access you're requesting, and you can request more than one, you can check off all of these if you wanted to, but they will be reviewed. Just because you request it doesn't mean you're going to get that access. That final determination is made by Keith's office. Then you have to provide your occupation and title, your agency email address, confirmation of your agency email address, a telephone number. Is primarily to reach you if there's any issues with your account request or things like that. And then you have to enter the verification code that's displayed in this gray box to the right to confirm that you're not a bot requesting an account. And then there's 2 certifications that you must acknowledge, and the way to acknowledge them is simply mark the checkbox for each one. And I don't know if you noticed that, but when you do that, the submit registration button activates. So at this point, you are able to submit your registration request. Once you click this button, you are going to be redirected to a My New Jersey page. For the My New Jersey, also commonly known as MBOSS, you are required to link your Affordable Housing Monitoring System account to a My New Jersey account, because that's a state requirement. It'll give you the ability, once you click that submit registration button, it's going to ask you if you have an existing My New Jersey account. If you do, it will allow you to link to your existing My New Jersey account right from there. If you don't have a My New Jersey account, it'll give you the option to create a new account all during this registration process. So once you link it to a My New Jersey account and it gets submitted to Keith and Heather's office, and where it will be reviewed, and upon review, if you're approved for an account, you'll be notified via email. If your account request is denied, you'll also be notified via email. But if your account request is approved, what you'll see in your My New Jersey account is this new role labeled AHMS, the Affordable Housing Monitoring System, and this is how you will access the system. So, and to do that, you can do it one of two ways. So you can either return to this site, and there's a link to log into your account where you'll use your My New Jersey account information to log in. And then you'll just click this link and it'll bring you into the site that looks like this. So we are now in the Affordable Housing Monitoring System application to manage all of your municipality's affordable housing information. Depending on the level of access you have to the system will determine what you see on the page. This is the home page. And as we go deeper through the application, you're going to see other features and functionality. And, some of those are limited by account access, but we'll discuss that as we go on. So let me explain what you're seeing here on the home page. So at the top of the page in this dark blue section, we refer to this as the header. So as you can see from the title, we are in the Affordable Housing Monitoring System. To the right of that, where it says OIT test, this is a test account we use. We are in the production site, so this is real data and real functionality that you can use as soon as you have an account. But OIT test, if this was a real account for me, John Porter, my name, John Porter, would be displayed up here. So when you log into the system, your name's going to be displayed. And what this is a link to access your profile, where you can update your contact information if that changes, such as your email address here or your telephone number. Just click that update button and it'll allow you to do that. Next to that is your logout button. So when you're done, viewing the information or updating it, and just click that logout button, you'll log out of the system. Going back to the left side of the screen, these where you see favorite, main, and search, these are your function menus, or your function tree, some people refer to it. So you can see it defaults to open the main menu, and there's 4 functions here to add a project, municipality search, plan search, and project search. So they're pretty self-explanatory. You can add a project to your plan right from here using this button, or as we go on, you'll see we'll go inside a plan and we'll go to the project page, and you can add a project there too. But this is just a shortcut to add a project to your plan. The municipality search, this is to the municipality search is helpful if you have access to multiple municipalities. If you're just registered for a single municipality, the easiest way or the most efficient way to access the affordable housing data for your municipality is just to go through your active plan inbox. The plan search is, exactly what it says. It's a way to search for municipal plans. But again, if you're registered for just a single municipality, it's just as easy to access the plan through the inbox. And the project search allows you to search the projects within a plan. So I know, just by working on this project, I've learned that there can be, a lot of projects in a municipality. So this is a function to just allow you to search for a specific project if you didn't want to go in through the plan. So you can just go right through the search to search for a project. And next is the search menu. So here's some additional search features: the service list search, the trust fund transaction search. So if you need to find a particular transaction or range of transactions that are entered in your municipality's trust fund, you can do that using the trust fund transaction search. It'll provide search results for either a single or multiple records, depending on how you search for them. You could search for them by category. You could search for them by transaction date range, or from the posted date range. and also by who posted the transaction, which will come up once you select the municipality. As you can see, these are all the registered users for Allendale. And yeah, this test account is for Allendale Borough in Bergen County. So that's what we'll be looking at today. But that's, I'm sure you might be using that search in the future. And last but not least, the unit search. So if you want to search for units within a project, you can do the unit search to perform that right from here if you don't want to access it through your plan. So, and I just want to briefly describe what the favorite menu is for. So whenever you are within the application and you return to the home page, it typically defaults to open up your main menu. But if you find yourself like, using some of the functions, more than others. And as Heather mentioned, this is a work in progress. We know that there's future enhancements that are going to be developed for this application. So in all likelihood, these menus on the left side of the screen, these are going to grow over time. So it's not too difficult to comb through these menus right now, but as they get longer, you might find yourself just using, one, two, or three of the functions on a regular basis. And if you do that, you can save them to your favorites menu, so they're always available to you anytime you return to the home page. And to do that, you would just highlight the star that's listed with the function. Just click on that and it turns gold. And then that will be in your favorites menu. So if I'm in the main menu here, and let's just say I go into this inbox, and this would work like this anywhere you're in within the application. I did not click on it. Just wait for this page to load. Okay, so there's my projects. I get the information I need. I return to the home page. If you have something saved to your favorites menu, anytime you return to the home menu, your favorites menu is going to be open. So you can just, get to those features that you use on a regular basis, more quickly, saving you a couple clicks there. So that's the way you use the favorites menu. Okay, so next to the right of that is your inbox summary. So, and again, depending on your level of access, you may or may not see some of these inboxes. And I'll briefly explain what these are. So first, under this external section, you have two inboxes. You have the My Municipalities Active Plans inbox, and you also have the My Municipalities Active Projects inbox. So we refer to these as inboxes with our company, but some of you may be more familiar with the term work basket. Same type of functionality. It's just a shortcut to information within the application. This inbox is to access the municipal plan, the individual municipal plans. The number that's reflected or that's listed with the inbox reflects the amount of records within the inbox. So looking at the active plans inbox, I know there's one record in there just by looking at this number, and that one plan is for Allendale Borough in Bergen County, because that's currently the only municipality that this test account is linked to. If you were a user who had access to multiple municipalities, let's just say 10 municipalities within Bergen County, your active plans inbox would list the number 10, because that would be a link to all 10 municipal plans that you're authorized to access. And then the My Municipalities Active Projects inbox, again, the number 15 here reflects that there's 15 projects listed in this inbox. These are all the active projects that are part of My Municipalities Allendale Borough's plan. So it's just this gets you into the plan, and this gets you access into the individual projects. So those are the two inboxes that most users will have access to right now. And this account registration section, this is specific to anyone that's registered as a municipal clerk or a municipal housing liaison, that MHL title that Keith had mentioned. So this is there's currently no records in this inbox. You can see that the inbox title, it's like this subdued gray text. That means that there's no records in the inbox, because if there were any records in the inbox, you would see a number next to it. So, but when this, and once you have a municipal housing liaison or municipal clerk registered for your municipality, they would see this inbox, and any new account requests requesting access to that clerk's or that liaison's municipality will post to this inbox for their review. The account request process is a two-step review process. First, it goes to the municipal clerk or municipal housing liaison for them to confirm that the person requesting a user account is authorized to, access that information. Once they approve it, it then goes to Keith and Heather for their review and approval. And it's upon their approval that you would get the email notification letting you know that your account request has been approved, and you can go into your My New Jersey account and access the system right away. So that's how that works. But let's go into our plan. So again, the easiest way to get to your municipality's plan is through the Municipalities Active Plans inbox. And again, I'm only registered to access Allendale Borough and Bergen County, but if I was registered for other municipalities, even if those municipalities were in any of the other 20 counties, they would all be listed here. So I could access those plans all right from this inbox. But this is just a summary of the information. It's just telling me, okay, this is the Bergen County plan for Allendale Borough. Current round is round 4 with a status of pending. So for round 4, every municipality status has been is pending until it's updated by you. And it is the current plan, and this plan is currently being monitored. So you can see that the municipality name is a hyperlink. This hyperlink is what actually gets you into the plan. So if I click on that, you'll see that now I am inside the plan for this municipality. And at any time, this header information up here, this is all static. This will follow from page to page, no matter where you're at in the plan. This will always be displayed. The municipality information here, again, Bergen County, Allendale Borough. This is a hyperlink too. If you click on this hyperlink, this is a link to the information for your municipality. So there's 3 tabs here. There's the municipality information tab that lists, just the general contact information for your municipality. There is the list of contacts for the municipality. And there is the service list for the municipality as well. Depending on your access, you may or may not be able to edit this information or update it, but if you have the proper permissions, you will be able to do that on behalf of your municipality. And anytime, so in order to return to the plan, you don't have to click back. You can just click on this link, the plan version hyperlink here. If you just click on this link, it'll bring you right back into the plan. So now we're on the plan summary page. I'll explain what's here. And I am going to cut over to because this current test account I'm using doesn't have the update permission. So I'm just going to switch over to my administrative account, just so you can see exactly all the function. I want to show you the full functionality that you may have. So again, now on this page, you can see that there's update buttons, add buttons. This is, all the functionality that allows you to update and edit things. So on the plan summary page, first you have the plan header. This simply reflects the municipality and county. Then you have the plan details section. So these are, self-explanatory, the details within the plan. So it reflects that we're in round 4. It's the current round. It's being monitored. Docket number is blank because that hasn't been entered yet. The status, as I mentioned before, round 4 status has all been reset to pending until it's updated by somebody on the municipality side. And the status date is blank because it hasn't been updated yet. And then when the status is eventually updated, it's going to reflect when the date that status was updated, as well as the user that updated the status. So there's always a record of that. The initial filing date, certification date, withdrawal date, all this existing information was carried over from the previous round. So that's why you would see that information in your plan detail if it's there. The plan submission history, this is just a record of, prior rounds. If it defaults to collapse, but if you wanted to, see that history for municipality, you just expand that menu. You can just see it's just a summary of the prior rounds. And this confirmation history, there's a process within the application that you're required to confirm your projects and your trust fund. And anytime you confirm, well, not necessarily you, but anytime someone within your municipality confirms the project list or the trust fund account, that confirmation will be saved to this confirmation history section as a record for future references to the user that, confirmed the project or the trust fund and the date that they did it. So that's what this confirmation history section is for. And when I move over, there's going to be points during the demonstration that I move over to our development site. You'll actually see some records in this section that I'll show you so you can get an idea of what that's going to look like in the future. So, in plan detail section, if you have the permissions to update that section, all you have to do is click this update button and you can update any of those fields on the page. Most importantly is probably going to be your status. You can see that throughout the application, there's going to be certain fields that are marked with this red REQ. That stands for required. And that means you have, at a minimum, those fields have to be filled out in order to save the record. If you don't, this date field is empty, but it's a required field. So if I try and save this record, it's going to give me a message that I have to enter a date here. So that's what the red REQ stands for. This way, when you do update the status, you are required to enter the date, the status date for that status change. So, it's recorded accurately. Keith, Heather, any questions before I move over to the next page?
Nope, I don't think so. So the question from Karen about submitting the resolutions, for now, you can just send them to us at our email address. We'll see a little bit later about the ability to upload documents to the system, but we'll deal with that sort of on a piece by piece at this point.
Next is the project tab or the project page. This is a list of the projects that have been added to the plan. All your projects that existed from the former COA system have been migrated to the Affordable Housing Monitoring System. So you'll have all those projects to work with in the latest round. So here you have, this is just a project summary. So you have the project name of all the projects that are currently in the plan, the project type, the project subtype, the project status, the number of units within that project, and you have this remove from plan link in the event you wanted to, this project needs to be removed from the current round or the current plan or the current round in that plan. You can see on this page, it tells you at the top of the section that there's 15 records. So there's 15 projects listed here. If this, the default display size is 30, so 30 records per page. So if this, instead of 15 records, if this was 50 records, if I wanted to see all 50 records on the, on a single page, as opposed to having to, turn to the next page, this is a drop down. You can just extend the number of records that are displayed here by just, setting that. It'll bump up the display size in case, if you want to see everything on one page. But it defaults to 30 just to persistent performance, because it takes, the more records you display on the page, the longer it takes the page to load. So we just defaulted to 30 so the page loads quicker. So from here, you can, in order to access the individual project, you just click the project name hyperlink. So I'm going to go to one where we actually have some units in it. So if I go into this project, it takes me to a project summary page. So on the project summary page, you have the project header and the project detail section, block and lot number list, your low-income housing tax credits list, project status, and the project name history. So in the project header, this is just the name of the project, the project type, the proposed unit count, and the number of completed units. If you click this update button, you can see that there are two fields you can update here. You can update the project type, and you can update the proposed unit count, which is required in order to save the record. That's what you can update here. The completed units information actually comes from the units page. which we'll see in a minute. But this populates automatically depending on the number of units that you enter here. Next is a project detail section. So you can see there's a lot of details about this particular project that are listed here. Project subtype, the address for the project, acreage amount, units per acre. It's all here. A lot of these were fields existed in the former COA system. Same concept. If anything needs to be updated here, you simply click that update button and you can update any of the information on this page. And then just anytime you update something, just click that save button. It's going to save that record to the page. Next is the block and lot number section. So you can add multiple block and lot numbers here. So if you need to add more than just one block and lot number for the project, you can do that by just clicking that add button, and you can do that for as many as are necessary. Low income housing tax credits. Again, there's an add button here to add that information if it applies. Project status. Anytime the status is updated, it will save the record. But you can also add the status description here. Not sure if this still applies, but we'll take a look at that. And the project name history. So anytime the name of the project is updated, it will save the prior name, or before the name was changed. It will save that here in this project name history section. This way, if someone still refers to it as under the old project name, there's a record of it in the project. So if you were to change the project name, the former name or the name that it was changed from would be saved in this section automatically. And in order to change the name, you just click that add button, you give it a new project name, and it would save a record of the prior project name. So if that's necessary to change a project name, that's where you would do it. Next is the units page. So these are the units within the project. This is the unit summary. So you have a unit ID, the address for the unit's block, lot, and qualifier number, the unit or apartment number, the total number of completed units within that, and all the categories within that unit, as well as the bonus type. So if you wanted to access an existing unit if it needed to be updated, you would simply click the unit ID number hyperlink, and that will open up the information for that particular existing unit. If you needed to add a new unit, you simply click the add button, and it's going to allow you to add the new unit. And you can see that there are several required fields when adding a new unit. Here is, address, unit, apartment number, all the categories for that particular unit. You could check off multiple here, as many that apply. Here's your bonus type list. So you can choose one bonus type per unit here. And unit type. Now, when you update this unit type, you're going to get a new section. The dynamic section is going to activate depending on what you choose here. So if it's a new unit construction, you're going to get this new construction units section that activates, because for new construction, you have to provide this information. Same for rehabilitation units. The rehabilitation unit section will activate, and you would provide this information as well. So once you have all that information for the particular unit entered, and here's that total completed units stat. So this is what populates that field on the project summary page that I was referring to a few minutes ago. But once you have all that information entered, just click save, and it'll save that new unit information for you. Next is your project counts page. So, all the information that you entered for the units will be broken down onto this project count page. As a little summary here. And in addition to that, there's a project count summary button here. So if you just wanted a summary of the information for the fields that are populated, you can click that project count summary button, and it'll display here. And then you have a contacts list for the contacts for that particular project. So for any contacts that are within the application, If you click the contact name hyperlink, you can update the existing contact information or even delete it if they're no longer part of the project or a contact for that particular plan or municipality. And then, of course, you can add a new contact just by clicking that add button and providing the information for that contact. So let's return to the plan. Keith, Heather, anything you wanted to mention about the individual projects before I move on?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. So next is the contacts tab. This is the contact list for this plan. It's very similar to what I just explained within the project contact list. For the plan, you have a plan contact list and you have your trust fund contact list. Works the same way, where if you click the contact name hyperlink, you can update the existing record or delete it, and then just click the add button to add any new contacts that need to be added. Onto our trust fund page. So this is where you manage your municipality's trust fund. So on here, you have several sections. Let's go through them one by one. First, you have your basic trust fund bank information. Again, you can update the existing trust fund information by clicking on the bank name hyperlink, or if you need to add a new trust fund, you simply click that add button and provide the information for the trust fund. Next, you have your trust fund details section. So if any of the information within the trust fund details section needs to be updated, you can simply click update and it will allow you to update that information. Residential information. So the residential information, this is where you can upload your development fee ordinance. So by clicking this upload document link, it gives you the ability to, and right here it's explaining that this is to update your development fee ordinance. And to do that, you just click this choose file button. This is going to open up the file explorer on your computer, like you're seeing here. And, you know, once you navigate either your network drives or your local drive to find that document, you can just select it and it will, once you save this, this is going to upload this document to the application. And what's going to happen after you upload that is it's going to save it to a folder on the Documents tab. It's going to save it to this development fee ordinance folder automatically, and it'll always be there for your future reference. This Documents tab, this is an electronic filing cabinet for you and Keith's office to save any documents that, you know, pertain to the plan or the projects within the plan. And currently there are these available folders, but over time you may see this folder list grow. There are some functions, we're going to see a few more as we move through the presentation, where when you upload a document, it will automatically save to one of these folders. But if you wanted to upload an individual document to any of these folders, you have two functions here to do that. You have the batch upload and the upload. Batch upload is if you want to upload multiple documents at one time. I mean, you can even use the batch upload if you just want to upload, you know, one document. But what the batch upload allows you to do, allows you to, you know, select multiple files from your file explorer. And if I just, you know, pick a couple here, it would, you know, add those to the list. I'm not going to save these because I'm in the production site, but, you know, once you upload these after you get past this page, it would allow you to save these to different folders on the Documents tab. That's the convenience of the batch upload function. If you just want to upload a single document, you can use this single upload button. This just allows you to, you know, put in a title for the document, the date you're uploading it to the application, and you choose your folder category. There's currently only one, document folders, and then the individual folder within that. And then once you locate your file and click save, it's going to upload that document to the folder you selected. So again, electronic filing cabinet for reference purposes, and so it's all available to you. So going back to the trust fund, okay, we left off at the residential information section. Let's go down to the trust fund transaction section. So this is where you can add transactions to your trust fund. You can see all this information was migrated from the COA system and is available here. If you need to add a new trust fund transaction, you simply click the add button. The municipality is going to default to the current plan you're in, so you can't change that. Category, here's where you choose whether it's an expenditure or income. And you can see that there are four categories for, or four subtypes for expenditures and five subtypes for income. So if we choose expenditure administrative costs, this type menu is going to activate, and this is all the types within the administrative costs for expenditures. And you can see that this is a dynamic window. So depending on what you choose here, might change the information that's can be entered. So if I move over to income for barrier-free ESCO category, now my type menu, I have that there's no type, there's no subtypes. It's just barrier-free escrow. And you can see here, I have to enter a block and lot number for this. And I have the option to add multiple block and lot numbers too, if that's necessary. So you can add multiple block and lot numbers if you need to, but that is dynamic. So again, depending on what category you choose, might provide some additional subtypes in the next menu. And then once you enter that information, and you have a note field here too, so if you wanted to enter a note about this particular transaction, you can. Once you save that record, it will be saved to the, individual category that you created it for. So if this was, if we entered a transaction for development fees, and I want to, see that list of transactions for the development fees category, you just go over to this open hyperlink, and it opens up your transaction history for your development fees. And this is all the information that was entered in that previous window we were in when we added the initial transaction. So this is the date of the transaction. This was that manually entered date right here. It's August 29th, 2024. There was a block and lot number for this transaction, but no address. The type was selected as residential. Here's the amount. Here's that note field. So if you save the note for that transaction, it would be displayed here. And then here's this posted by. This is the user that posted the transaction. Now you're going to see throughout the application that there's going to be a lot of posted by the super user. The super user, it reflects the migration from the old system to this application. So that's why it reflects that the information was posted by the super user, because it wasn't an individual user that did it. It was a system migration. So when you see super user there, that's what that means. And the posted date was the actual date and time that record was added to the system. So you can control the transaction date, because you can enter a transaction that was actually conducted 2 weeks ago, but you can't control the posted date. This is the actual date and time that it was added to the system. So, the system keeps a log of that. This is also a good opportunity to show you this export to Excel feature. So in many of the search result pages and, this transaction fund list that we're currently looking at, you'll see this Excel icon. And this means when you see that, it means that you can export the current list of information that you're seeing on the page as an Excel file. And to do that, you simply click that button. This is saying that there's 635 records in the list, as you're seeing right here. And in order to export that, it's going to take a few minutes, because that's a lot of records to populate into an Excel file. So it's just letting you know, hey, this might take a little longer than usual. And, if you want to proceed, click OK. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste your time. But it would, generate an Excel file that you would download from your browser. And it would be an Excel file of exactly all this information you're seeing on the page. And then you can sort and filter, through that Excel file if you wanted to. So that's available on multiple pages throughout the application. And then you also have, if you remember back at the start of the presentation, when we're on the home page, there was a trust fund transaction search. Well, there's that shortcut to that search is here as well. So you can, if you wanted to search for a particular transaction without having to go through these individual lists like this, and scan and scroll, you can just go right to the trust fund transaction search, and it'll allow you to, dial in the search for whatever you're looking for. And then you also have the option to basically, get a summary of your trust fund by date. by individual date or by date range. So if I wanted to say you wanted to, the transaction history for the first quarter of 2024, you could click that date or click that link, and you're going to enter your date range. So, January 1st, 2024 through March. I'm bad if remembering if there's 30 days or 31 days in March, but let's just say in general, the first quarter of 2024, we enter that date range, we click go, and it'll give you a summary of the transactions that were conducted within that period or, entered in the trust fund for that period. So you have that ability too, if needed. So that is the trust fund page. I'm sorry. One other thing here I missed, I overlooked was the confirmed trust fund data. So when I mentioned earlier on that transaction history or the confirmation history on the plan summary page, this is where it collects that information. Anytime you confirm your trust fund data, and also on the project page where you confirm your project data. This is the button you use to do that. So I'm going to move over for a minute to our development site to show you exactly how this works, because I certainly don't want to do this in the production site. So let me just move over there real quick. Yeah. All right. So let's go to our trust fund. Okay. Don't know why my button's not showing there, but we can do it with the project, or let me do it with the. So let me go back real quick. My apologies. So back here in the production site, just to show you what the confirmation process looks like for the trust fund, when you click this button, there's going to be a certification that you have to acknowledge, and also a requirement to upload a file. Now, the file you have to upload whenever you confirm your trust fund is a copy of your December bank statement. So that's what you're supposed to upload here. But first, what the certification is that we certified that to the best of our ability, the trust fund information entered into the AHMS is accurate as of December 31st, 2023. Now, this currently lists December 31st, 2023, because the way the system's programmed is it will set the new year January 1st of the new year. So I can currently confirm my trust fund data up to December 31st, 2023. But in 2 weeks' time, on January 1st, 2025, this date will automatically update to December 31st, 2024. So the soonest you'll be able to confirm your trust fund for 2024 as of December 31st, 2024 is on January 1st. This will update automatically. But when you're ready to do that, you simply acknowledge the certification by clicking the checkbox. You're going to find the file on your browser, or through your file explorer. Once you do that, you're going to click, you can enter a note too. If you wanted to make a note either for yourself or for Keith and Heather here, you can add a note and click save. And once you do that, you are going to, this confirm trust fund data button is going to deactivate because you've confirmed your trust fund and you can't do it again. But once you do that, that information will be saved on the plan summary page. Come on. It's coming. It's running slow today. This is our development site. It'll be saved here in the confirmation history section. So you can see, and this is all, just testing data. That's why there's that's why there's so many records here. This is, here's a confirmation of a trust fund on December 19th, 2024 at 2:05 p.m. It was the trust fund confirmation. It was confirmed by the super user, which is our admin account. But if this was done, by a regular municipal user, their name would be reflected here, as well as the date and time that they confirmed that. Here's that note. If you entered a note, it would be displayed here. This reopen section, I'll show you how that works in a second. And then, okay, so that's that's where that confirmation history will populate. So if I go to the trust fund, I'm sorry, I wanted to go to the project. So if I go to the project and confirm project data works the same way, except when you confirm your project data, you're not required to upload a file. You're just required to acknowledge the same certification and, test CSI, here's a little note, and click save. See, I confirmed it, so my confirm project data button deactivates. And if I go back to that plan summary page, I'm going to go down to the confirmation history section. I'm going to see that here's that confirmation of my project data I just added, all right here. Now the reopen link is active because it's been confirmed. Now only Keith and Heather have the reopen link. So if you confirmed it too early or you confirmed it by mistake, Keith and Heather can reverse that for you if necessary. So, yeah, just in case that happens, but hopefully not. Also, while I'm in the development site, I'll show you how that remove from plan thing works. So, if you have a project that's listed in your plan and it shouldn't be part of it, you can remove that from the plan. To do that, you simply click the remove from plan hyperlink. And it's gonna, doesn't remove it right away. And, you need to confirm it. So if I want, and it's asking me, do I want to remove this from the plan? Then you want to change no to yes, and you're going to confirm it. And the link's going to update to remove. So it's telling you, it's not going to remove it from the list. It removes it from the plan, but it stays on the list to let you know that this has been removed. Whenever you remove a project, all that unit information for the project is going to be removed from the project count page too. Just so you know, since it's been removed from the plan. But let's just say, hey, my partner, Anthony removed this by mistake, so it's got to be restored. You can reverse it. You simply click that removed hyperlink and you change remove from plan yes to no, and it will restore it. So if that was done in error, you can easily restore it. I just want to show you something else here. Throughout the application, we have this footer section on every page. And, whenever you're unsure of, what's the purpose of this inbox? What am I supposed to do here? Look at the bottom of the page because you can see the tips down here on this page. And some tips are more extensive than others, but we added instructions here on exactly what to do. So to remove a project, update the remove from plan setting to yes, and that's how you remove the project. But just keep your eyes out in the footers on every page and every window because there might be some helpful information in case you're confused. Just wanted to point that out. Okay, so that's the trust fund. Keith, Heather, anything you want to mention about the trust fund before I move on to the spending plan?
No, I don't think so. Heather?
I'm good.
Okay, I will qualify that with the thoroughness and the instruction. Okay, spending plan. So the spending plan, this is where, and I learned a lot from Heather and Keith on this. So a lot of what I say is what they've told me, of course. But the spending plan is where you enter your projections for your income and expenses. And this has changed a little bit with the new system. Keith and Heather have worked very hard with designing the whole system actually to make it easier to use for everyone that participates in this. But on the spending plan page, we have the spending plan information section, the income section, and the expense section. So show you what to do here. So in the spending plan information section, what we display here is the most recent approved spending plan date. And you can see this one goes all the way back to 2010. The waiver information and a waiver note. So when you're ready to update the most recent approved spending plan date, you simply click update and you can enter that new, spending plan date when it was approved. You're not going to be able to change this balance. This balance is only open to Keith and Heather. So if that needs to be adjusted, you would contact them for help. So you're not going to see this open field, but you can see here, you're required to upload a file, and the file you're required to upload is a copy of your approved spending plan. So anytime you change this date or update, anytime this needs to be updated, you're going to be required to update your approved spending plan along with that. Then you can update the waiver, yes or no, and of course you can add a note if necessary. Once you save that change, that history or that transaction or that update is going to be saved here in the spending plan submission history section. So there's a record of the date, time, and user that updated that information. So that'll always be available here, historically. So if you change it tomorrow, that record will be there. And then, if somebody changes it 2 years from now, that their record will be added to the existing record. So there's a log of any, anytime the spending plan submission is updated. Income. So here you have the projections for the next round, which is 2025 through 2034. So if when it comes time to update these projections, you simply click the update button and you can update the projections for the various categories year by year, as seen here. And once you update those and save it, it will update the table accordingly. And any of the amounts you enter in the year columns will tabulate automatically here in the projected amount. Then you'll get the total for everything that's entered in the row in this projected 2025 through 2034 column. And then you'll get an overall total of that column down at the bottom. So obviously this is 0 because we haven't updated it yet for income. Same thing for expenses. So you can update when you're ready to update the projections for the various projects for expenses, you click the update projections button and allow you to do the same thing. Add the expense projections for the individual projects. Now, there were 15 projects listed in this particular plan, but there's only 4 projects here. And the reason for that is there was only 4 units, or these are the only projects with units in them. But if there was a project missing from this list that is listed on the projects tab, you can easily add it by just clicking this add project button. And this will allow you to select the project that isn't listed and bring it over. You can also enter the projections here if you want to. They're not required, as you can see, but if you just want to get the project on the list, just select the project, click save, and it'll add it to the list for you. And then there's some other functions up here. So these, update other activities, update housing activity, update affordability and VLI and admin costs. That's to update your projections for those categories down here. So there's, projection columns for all those categories here. This information, this is going to be updated shortly. These, we just talked about this the other day. These are going to be updated very shortly. These will reflect the values from the actual expenses for the round, as well as, total projection for expenses, but these will be updated soon. And that is the trust fund or the spending plan page. Keith, Heather, anything you want to mention about the spending plan page before I move on?
Yeah, as John said at the beginning, he prefaced it by saying when the time comes. So the spending plans are going to be part of the compliance certifications that are issued by the court as part of the Affordable Housing Dispute Resolution Program. So you won't have the information to enter into the spending plans until after that approval happens. And so one of the requirements here will be after it's approved by the Dispute Resolution Program, you'll be making these entries and also uploading the approved spending plan that comes out of that court process. And one of the important parts now is in terms of how the different components of this system integrate, the expenses that are listed there, the project name is pre-populated in there based on the projects that are entered in the component of this portal that was reviewed earlier. So the only reason these 4 projects show in this particular case is because they were uploaded or they were entered already as projects in the plan. So when you do your spending plans a year from now, probably, it'll be important to make sure that all the projects have been identified in that other module in the program so that it populates this section. hopefully that's not too confusing, but I have a sneaking suspicion that as we move forward and we get ready to deal with the updates to the system that are going to be happening after municipalities are submitting their actions before the Affordable Housing Dispute Resolution Program, we'll certainly be conducting additional webinars and getting everybody up to speed on things.
All right, thank you, Keith. So next would be our documents tab, which we already discussed, so I won't belabor the point here. And last but not least, the fair share obligation tab. So this has been pared down from the version in the COA system. Here we have just 4 fields: the rehab share information, the round 4 prospective need, prior round obligations, and a comment section. So if any of these need to be updated, simply click that update button. You'll be able to update that information accordingly, as well as, add a comment if you wanted to make a note for this particular section. And that's your fair share obligation section.
And again, that part won't be anything that you'll be able to fill out until after you get a compliance certification from the Affordable Housing Dispute Resolution Program. Part of that compliance will verify what was ultimately agreed to in terms of what your 4th round present and prospective needs are.
So that is a complete walkthrough of the application as it is today. So Keith, Heather, anything that you would like me to review again or in greater detail, or anything you may have missed?
Yeah, I think we should just go to some Q&A. So questions, raise your hands. It's a 2-step process. Once you raise your hand, we'll click something on our end, and then you have to unmute yourself.
And we do know that, a lot of this is going to depend on you guys using the system, getting familiar with it, and then maybe that's when you'll have questions. So certainly we are available as you go through this to answer those questions. There's a question from Matt. Matt, yeah. There you
Can you
go.
hear me?
Yeah.
In the housing activity, is there a specific expense type for expenses once you have your housing units up and running?
You mean for administration?
So when you go to the trust fund.
Okay.
And select housing activity, open that up. Yeah. So go to expenditure, housing activity. Go to. So I guess you would classify all your expenses relating to your affordable housing unit on purchase of existing units.
Hold on just a second. See. I'm trying to get there.
You need another subtype like expenses related to the actual unit. Like the utilities, if you have a HOA fee, if you have any, the monthly expenses. There's nothing that categorizes that.
I have it on the screen, Heather, in case you weren't looking at that.
Yeah, okay. I'm wondering if that falls into administration.
And then in one of the emails I sent to Affordable Housing, it would be beneficial if this screen can be an upload file in CSV and be able to upload it right in each year. It would save anybody that's in charge of the trust fund, like a CFO, a lot of time.
Yeah, we covered that earlier in the chat. You know, we're working on that. The difficulty is that the coming up with a way that standardizes different municipalities' way of collecting and managing data, and how that gets exported into a set of fields and tables that has potentially different file naming conventions or whatever, is potentially problematic. But our software engineers are diligently working on it. And if we can accommodate that, we will absolutely positively do our best to make sure that that's a possibility, especially on the trust fund
Even if-
information.
Yeah, even if it was a template sent out that matches this form. I
Right,
think
that's
it
one of
would
the
be-
things, that's one of the things we've been considering. Of course, you know, then
Okay,
you'd still
thank
have to convert your form to the new form, but you know,
That's
we're
not a
doing what we
problem.
can.
That's not a problem on my end. But thank you. That answers my question.
Okay. Kevin, let me unmute you. All right, Kevin, if you unmute yourself, we should be able to hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry, it took a little bit to find the microphone on the screen. There were two questions, and thank you very much. I found the information very informative. The two questions I have, and they may be too specific to answer today. Our borough had received a donation to the efforts of affordable housing, and we just recently set up a dedication by rider for that acceptance of the funds. Would that, while it's not particularly, it wasn't an obligation that was required by the municipality. It was a donation by a large developer that previously developed that has made a financial contribution. Would I be setting that up in the trust fund area anyway? Because I'm not sure where else that would go.
Yeah, I would imagine if it goes into the trust fund, then it would need to be categorized on here. I would say other income potentially. Would it be a place where you could put that, but then make sure to write specifically what it's for?
Okay.
Does that
I'll
make
see.
sense?
It does. As I look through the pop down, the pop downs, I'll see what's most applicable for that because I'm not sure. In some of the areas, it may completely qualify for what's defined there. But I thank you. That's helpful. And then the other question I had, and I know you had said send you an email on, but I reread my question. I'm like, maybe I just didn't. I have a market rate housing project, a six family unit that has come to the municipality and has agreed to do low income deed restriction on that existing market rate housing unit. And I just wasn't sure if that would qualify under the new construction or the rehab.
I would talk to your planner about that.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems there's probably some more information in there that you're gonna need to go through with that owner to get to a place where, it works and it needs to work within your plan. So that's more of a planning issue.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, and it wasn't a requirement. They just decided to do that as they built over the years in the region. So thank you very much on that. I appreciate it. And again, Thank you very much for your assistance today.
Absolutely. You have some very generous people in your town.
People have done very well here, that's why.
That's good. Fabiana, let's see. All right, you should be able to unmute. Is that not working or? Fabiana, can you unmute? You have your hand raised. Oh, okay. Anyone else? You can
Okay.
certainly send any questions to ahms@dca.nj.gov anytime you have them. It's not working. Okay. If you wanted to type it in or just send an email, we can try that too. Thank you, Mara. That's an interesting suggestion. Yep. I will put that on the list.
Okay, well, if there's no other questions, before concluding, I just want to mention that our office is in the process of promulgating regulations covering all of the things that are given responsibility to DCA on. So that includes the trust fund monitoring and the project and unit monitoring that we just discussed. We also will have all the information about the administrative agent and MHL certification programs and a couple of other bits and pieces of things that were delegated to DCA under the Public Law 2024, Chapter 2, the new legislation. And in those regulations, we will be specifying that the affordable housing monitoring system is the place for municipalities to submit the reporting that's required under the new law. All the reporting is going to be required to be submitted through the system. Yes, we will be doing our best to try to include bulk upload processes if that's possible, but this is going to be the way of submitting your reporting to comply with the law. We're not going to be able to look at things like PDFs of things or screenshots that were taken or whatever. So that this is going to be the regulatorily required way of submitting that information. And the deadline for that's going to be February 15th. And we will do anything that we can to help you meet that deadline timely. And other than that, unless anybody else has anything, I want to thank everybody for your participation today. As I said earlier, it truly does speak to your commitment to the task at hand and making sure that the state's initiatives are carried out the way they're supposed to be. So thank you very much and have a great holiday, everybody.